Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the video. I'm going to talk about Gonzaga basketball today and college basketball. I'm going to talk about how I think their program is set up for success in the long run and that they will be back to national championship game again soon and perhaps even win one or a few because I think that they're going to be a college powerhouse for years to come. So, if you're interested in videos like these, please let me know. I make a wide variety of videos. I talk about sports, I talk about NBA, NFL, fantasy sports. I also make some music as well and do some covers and some mashups and things like that. So if you're interested in seeing a wide variety of content on a YouTube channel, that's what my channel does, and you're in the right spot. So please let me know what you're interested in, and I'll try to put some stuff out there. So let's go into college basketball now. So disappointing game last night for Gonzaga. I'm not a Gonzaga fan. I'm kind of neutral on them. But I really wanted to kind of see them pull it off, see if they can go undefeated this season. But looks like they kind of ran out of gas from that UCLA game, and Baylor really just kind of just ran them off the court. It wasn't really close early on. It kind of got close later in the game, but they couldn't do enough to try to get themselves back in it. So, and I think that was kind of the fear that I had going into that game for Gonzaga, because a lot of times in sports, when you come off an emotional comeback like that, or an emotional game where it's a last second victory, it's very difficult to rebound, especially on short rest, and get yourself in a position to be focused for the next game. I'm not saying they weren't focused necessarily, but it's definitely challenging. And a good example of that is Minnesota Vikings when they scored the Minneapolis miracle catch. Stephon Diggs ran it into the end zone. If you remember, the following game after that, they were blown out by the Eagles in the NFC Championship. So that's a good example of a trap situation that I was kind of concerned could happen to Gonzaga. But I'm going to go into 4 reasons of why, even though Gonzaga lost last night, I'm still very optimistic about their program, and I think they will be one of the college basketball powerhouses for years to come. So 4 reasons, and the first is going to be stability. This is both coaching stability and roster stability. So Gonzaga's head coach, Mark Few, is one of the few coaches from mid-major programs who has made it very public that he is not looking for higher job opportunities in other college programs. He's very happy with where he is in Gonzaga. He enjoys it there. He wants to leave his mark on the program. And because of that, the school has been able to have stability around him. They can build their roster the way Coach Few wants it. They can build the assistants, build the program. Creates a culture that players want to be a part of because they're now starting to develop some history in that school. And as long as he's there, that's a great sign for recruits moving forward. He also does a great job of recruiting depth on the team and then building talent from the bottom up. That guys that'll start off on the bench, but then when they get to their junior, senior year, they're going to be more productive later on. So good examples of this are at their forward center position. So their starting center around 2010, 2011 was Robert Sacre. Kelly Olynyk was coming off the bench and not really playing a lot, but then Kelly Olynyk had a breakout season when he was a senior, right around 2013, I believe, and then took off from there. And then behind Olynyk was Shemek Karnowski, who was their starting center when they went to the national championship game in 2017. They also had Roy Hachimura on the bench that year. He's now in the NBA. So it's just guys starting off on the bench. It's a great school for developmental projects to spend some time learning the system, developing. Another example, Domantas Sabonis went there too. So it's just all kinds of great players that will start off maybe not necessarily in a starting role or in a lot of minutes, but they develop over time. Coach Few is excellent at that. As long as he's there, Gonzaga will continue to be successful as a program, building its players to be successful over time. The other aspect that I'm going to get to, this is point number 2, that their roster is set up for success in the college basketball landscape. This is because their roster is highly dependent upon junior and seniors for the reasons that I talk about above. They're very good at developing players on the bench, project guys. A lot of players actually from overseas like Canada and Europe maybe need a few extra years to get used to the American game, but they excel by the time they're juniors and seniors and are key contributors to Gonzaga. Gonzaga is also very heavily involved in the transfer market. Good example of that this year, Andrew Nembhard previously played for the Florida Gators. Nigel Williams-Goss was a transfer, I believe, from Washington to Gonzaga as well. You look at this year's roster, Corey Kispert, a senior, Joel Ayayi, a junior. Years past, they've also been heavily reliant upon seniors and juniors. Karnowski was a senior when they went to the championship game 4 years ago now. So they're a team that is constantly got some experience, and this is what you need to be successful in college basketball. You look at the last 5 champions. Baylor this year, a lot of success because of their experience and because of their depth. You look at University of Virginia, that was a highly experienced, skilled team. Villanova the year before that in 2018. UNC, senior-laden team in 2017. Villanova, another experienced team when they won it 2 years before in 2016. So the last 5 years, the recipe for success in college basketball is having experience, having skilled players that have great chemistry. And if you have that, that's what you tend to be successful in college basketball. You look at the teams that generally rely on one-and-done players, college standouts. You look at teams like Kentucky, Duke, Kansas to a degree. Kentucky and Duke didn't even make the tournament this year. And Duke did win the title in 2015. But especially Kentucky, you look at all the talent that they've had up and down on NBA caliber players, and they've only really won 1 title out of Calipari. It just shows you that model is not successful. But avoiding getting off on that tangent, that is why Gonzaga is going to be set up for success, is because they don't rely on that. Granted, they're going to have some one-and-done players here and there. Jalen Suggs is going to be one-and-done. Zach Collins was a few years ago. But they build their depth so well because of their stability and their coaching system that they will be fine for years to come. Another point I want to get to is conference play. So Gonzaga is always going to be at the top of the West Coast Conference. And yes, they are kind of padding their numbers a little bit with victories, but when you dominate a conference like that, and there's no sign of them moving to another conference or merging some other teams in there, I don't really know who the candidates would be to go to the West Coast Conference, but they're going to always have a good record, so they're really going to always put themselves in a position where they're going to have a great regular season record and be a top team in college basketball. Granted, this could be their Achilles heel to a degree because they're not necessarily playing the best competition throughout the whole season, but still, they're putting themselves in a position to where they've now dominated this conference. You can always pencil them in as having a great record, and if they get some good non-conference games in, which they always do, then they will build a strong resume going into the tournament. So they're set up for excellent success in that regards as well. But the fourth point I want to talk about is why I think they will be a college basketball powerhouse for years to come, is because they run an offense that is conducive to preparing players for the pros. So NBA prospects want to go to a school where they can develop their skill sets to become NBA players. So Gonzaga is on a good list of schools that does this for players. So you look at their bigs. This year Drew Timme, an incredibly skilled big. He's a guy that has probably improved his draft stock a lot. I don't know if he's going to really ever be a first-round pick, but he's now on the radar. Guys like Kelly Olynyk, Domantas Sabonis, Robert Sacre back in the day. Karnowski was not an NBA caliber center. Zach Collins was, but you got these skilled bigs that put themselves in a position to be successful through the Gonzaga offense. Roy Hachimura, another example of that. So they've got a lot of skilled bigs. They also rely heavily on guard play and three-point shooting in designed sets. So if you're a player that's looking to prove that you're a solid system guy, You can knock down some threes, play some solid defense. Gonzaga is an excellent program to go to develop that skill set. Another example of this is Villanova. Villanova has been running a four-guard offense for seemingly almost a decade before the NBA, and players are now going to Villanova because they know that that style of offense is going to be conducive to success in the NBA. So Gonzaga is starting to do this too. They're getting some five-star guys like Jalen Suggs. They're getting some great international prospects as well. And as long as they continue to maintain the stability, the roster depth, and the strength of power and domination that they have in that conference, players will continue to go there because they know that this is an environment that is not only going to develop them as a pro, but also going to put them in a position to be successful at the college scene, get that notoriety and publicity in order to improve your draft stock. And that's why I think that this team will continue to be successful moving forward, and I look for Gonzaga to continually go to NCAA tournaments and continue to be a successful franchise in college basketball. So that's all I got for this video. If you like this, please let me know. I'll continue to make more videos like this. But yeah, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.